Good afternoon. Hello, everybody. Marianne Amen, Magnificent Love Coaching. Yes, that is I. So today I'm going to be talking to you about how a queen keeps her promises. What does that look like? How did that happen for me? What are the benefits to you? So I really want to encourage you today to be a woman, a man, if you're watching this, who keeps their promises to themselves. A lot of times, we make promises to people and we're good about keeping our promises to others, but we're not so good about keeping promises to ourselves, right? We're kind of oftentimes at the bottom of the list. Maybe we do a little bit of self-care and a little bit of loving on ourselves and taking care of ourselves, but there's nothing like making a solid promise over a period of time that requires some discipline, consistency, and commitment. That's the kind of promise I'm talking about today. All right. So if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, and I'd love to reach out to you. Thank you for coming. Oh, my darling. Thank you, darling. You're prejudiced. Oh, you're supposed to be, aren't you? All right. Yes. So if you're jumping on, please say hi. Love to see your, well, I can't see your faces, but your names. Love that. All right. So if you're just coming aboard, today we're going to be talking about how a queen keeps her promises. What does that mean? What does that look like? What are the benefits to it? So hopefully at the end of this broadcast, you will feel encouraged. You'll feel encouraged to make some promises to yourself and then keep them and reap the benefits that come from that. Okay? All right. So just waiting for let's wait another minute or two. Yeah, so hopefully everybody's having a great day. Today we were out walking and the weather's finally turned, majorly turned. Wind was blowing, had to wear a sweatshirt and cover up my face or my head. It was pretty chilly. And for us, Arizona, it's 48 degrees. That's pretty chilly for us. But it's a nice welcome change. Some people think that we don't have seasons, right? And as we walk, we start to notice the seasons. We notice that there are certain plants that only flower at certain times of the year. And there are other plants that are like they die. So, everything has its season. It's just that you got to look for it sometimes, don't you? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get started. I want to talk today, as I said, about keeping your promises, making promises to yourself and then keeping them. And I'm going to start you off with the number one benefit. I believe that when you have make a promise to yourself, something that is really important to you, but sometimes you just don't get around to doing it. You don't have the motivation, you don't have the framework, whatever. And so, you let it slide. You never make the promise to yourself in the first place, or if you do, you let a lot of things get in the way. So the kind of promise I'm talking about today is a promise that is really going to benefit you in some way. All right? It's going to benefit you some way. It's going to require a certain amount of discipline, consistency, and commitment. When you make a promise to yourself that has discipline, consistency, and commitment ingrained in it, in order for you to accomplish it, you have to pull that out of you. There is something that happens to your level of confidence. We've been talking about being fierce in the face of insecurity. Fierce in the face of insecurity. And I don't know anything that actually works better to overturn insecurity like making a promise to yourself that requires discipline, consistency, and commitment and fulfilling it. Nothing like it. You will be able to scale new heights by doing this, right? So whether you do it through me in a program we work out together, you do it from some other angle, you make it up yourself, it doesn't matter, all right? It doesn't matter. So, hello, Carmi, good to see you. Now, Back in, oh gosh, I'd say April, May, God started speaking to me about um, Him taking me higher to higher ground. And quite frankly, I didn't know what that meant. I think my sister had just passed from COVID, and there was a bit of suffering going on, well, quite a bit from that. And then what was going on with the pandemic. It was like, well, what does that actually mean? And he started giving me the term the Coalition of Queens. I like that idea, whatever it was, but I didn't actually know what that meant either. A lot of times God can lead us in a direction and we don't have the full picture. We don't understand. And maybe it's something that's going to be not totally different than what you're doing, but something different than what you're doing, a tweaking of what you're doing. And a lot of times it's the circumstances in your life that help to shape that, help to put feet to it. So, yeah, so we've had, as you know, the whole issue with COVID and life has changed. And moving forward, I do believe that people are going to be different. They're already different, but they're going to continue, and things are going to be different from here on out. Everybody wants to get back to normal, but for me, normal was basically just doing whatever I want when I wanted to it. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I had gotten into a habit. I gotten into a habit of not expecting a whole lot from myself. I got into a habit of kind of being not a couch potato, but a chair potato, and sitting a lot and not really exercising, not eating as well as I wanted to. I gained quite a bit of weight, and I wanted to do something for a long time, but I hadn't been able to get off the dime. I don't know. Have you ever had that yourself, where you want to do something, but the motivation is just not there? So when I came across the 75 hard, which was 75 days of having daily routines. And the framework of it at first was obnoxious to me. 2 workouts a day for 45 minutes. One has to be outdoors, one indoors. All right, no, at least one has to be outdoors. You can have them both outdoors, but at least one has to be outdoors, reading 10 pages in a book, not in a Kindle, but actually holding a book, right? No alcohol, finding a meal plan and sticking to it. It was all about, turning your lifestyle into something that's like a well-oiled machine that has, let's say, just causes you to just have a track to run on. Let me just put it that way, a track to run on. And at first I thought, and drinking a gallon of water a day and taking a picture of yourself every day. It all just seemed kind of nuts to me. I wanted some discipline. I wanted something with consistency, but that just seemed too much. I thought, I'm going to make up my own program. So after 2 days, I quit. After 2 days, I quit. Well, on the third day, I was like, it doesn't feel good to just put a program together for myself. There was something that was very challenging about 75 hard. Challenging, and I think in my heart of hearts, I wanted a challenge. I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to rise to a higher level of expectation without any shame, without any guilt, without any condemnation, right? A lot of times when we try to rise up and we don't make it, we sometimes subject ourselves to a lot of shame and condemnation, and it works against us. But I determined that I was not going to fall into that state. I was going to do what needed to be done, and I was going to rise to a level of higher expectation on myself. But I didn't know how valuable it would be at the time. I honestly didn't. So, nobody was putting a gun to my head. I was in a group to support me, but really the bottom line is this: nobody's watching me to know whether I'm doing it or I'm not doing it. It's all about your own personal integrity. your own personal integrity. And that's the other thing about being a queen. You have integrity. What you say you're going to do, you do, right? You make your commitments sure. Now, sometimes I had to rely on God because I didn't want to do it. Give me the energy, give me the patience, give me the discipline, So, yes, sometimes you have to rely on supernatural forces to help you out. But for the most part, I didn't need that. Once I made a decision, that decision carried benefits. That decision carried energy. That decision found a way. And I needed that because things come up. Things come up. There's distractions. One of the things I didn't, when I first started this, we were not in the throes of buying a house, even looking for a house seriously, kind of look here and there, but it was not a serious thing. Here it is 75 days later, and we're in the middle of a home purchase that escrow closes November 17th. And we found a home on the water. Now, I've been talking about that, but you have to know that at the beginning of this challenge to myself, there was no home on the horizon. And there wasn't enough money for a down payment. I had surplus, and I believe in God is surplus. I believe in surplus. I had surplus, and I was building surplus for the day when we would have our own home again. However, it wasn't there yet. But then all of a sudden, an idea came to us, and we knew how to get it. We knew how to get it. I won't go into the details about that because I don't want you fixating on that. There's always a way. There's always a way. So that manifested. We started looking at houses that were not necessarily for us. Then we thought that there was, but it wasn't until we finally made a decision about what we actually wanted and not settling for less. And that's when the house came up that we ended up buying. So none of that was when I first started 75 Hard. It was actually in the process of it. And I'm not going to call it 75 Hard. I'm going to call it a promise to myself. None of this started until I made a promise to myself. Money has come in. September was the best month I had all year. And the right house came in. Not only that, but I lost probably, I think it's 16 pounds now. Last time I checked, 16 pounds now. Okay. And energy, lots of energy. So the benefits have been beyond just the program itself. The benefits have gone to some new habits I developed to activate discipline, commitment, and consistency within me. Now that this is over, today's the last day, I'm starting a 90-day program. And the 90-day program, and I'm going to keep certain habits that got formed from that program. I'm going to keep certain habits and make another promise to myself because now I can do it. I know I can keep promises to myself. Do you know that that's one of the reasons why you're not getting things done, why you're not rising to the level? Because you're not taking the promises to yourself. You're not making them, or you're not taking them seriously. So I just want to challenge you, make promises to yourself and take them seriously. Now I'm taking that and building on it into a 90-day program that has more to do with my business. There's certain things I get lazy about in my business. I will admit, certain things I'm lazy about, certain things that are not as much fun as other things. And so if they weren't fun, I didn't do them. But I noticed that with the power decision, commitment, consistency, discipline, the things that I didn't want to do, like before drinking a gallon of water, I didn't want to do that. I didn't like doing that, to tell you the truth. And sometimes I was ready to go to bed and I still had a whole jug of water to chug down. But I did it. I didn't go to bed. And I thought about quitting many times because I wanted a glass of wine with my friends. There's certain things that are inconvenient, and they're inconvenient to other people as well. But when they see your commitment and they see you're benefiting from your commitment, you'd be surprised how many people around you will join you. will join you, will honor your commitment, will support you even if they don't come along and do the same thing for themselves, you know? So it's a beautiful thing. And you'll be surprised at the support you get. So when you make a promise to yourself, have a framework of some kind. I used 75 hard. Now for the 90 days, I'm doing another framework. There's another framework that I am going to, and you have to agree with the framework or it's not going to work for you. All right. When I first started the framework, it didn't work for me because I didn't agree with it. I didn't see the sense of it. I didn't care about it. It was like stupid in my mind. Okay. So until you agree with it and you subject yourself to it, you won't finish it. It's just how it is. So you need a framework that you can agree with, that inspires you, that challenges you and inspires you. The second thing is, as I was talking, support. Support around you. Now you may think you don't have support. Like there are people that it's inconvenient for. They don't want you doing it. I remember I had one client who said, because we were working on her own program, um, my husband kind of makes fun of me about doing this. And is that ever going to be done? And, little things that make you feel like, oh, this is a bother to other people. I'm imposing on them. Now they got to eat certain things that I'm eating unless we make a whole different regimen for me versus them. I mean, there's all those thoughts that come into your mind, not wanting to be a bother and a problem, right? Those things can get in your way. But when you make a decision and you commit, it's amazing how people come around. It's amazing how the circumstances fit around your decision rather than your decision fitting around the circumstances. Okay, hear me out on that. Our circumstances will always interfere unless we make a decision that they won't, unless we make a decision that we are committed to this. When you do that, it's amazing how the circumstances adjust to what it is you're trying to accomplish. And hopefully, what you're trying to accomplish is in support of your bigger dream, in support of the surplus of finances that you want, is a support to your mission and your passion. All right. It's a support to who you are, you living your fullest expression of you. That's so important. So, framework that you agree with, support from other people. And the third thing is the decision. No matter what, this is getting done. So, with that, I've taken that now and applied it to my business, to finances, to growing my business, to doing certain things in my business and turning something that wasn't quite fun into something that's fun. These Facebook Lives, you know, I don't like doing them before. I didn't want to do them before. They were too much trouble. It's too much trouble. And now I enjoy them. Now I enjoy them. Now I find it to be, and I'll expand this somehow or another. I don't know exactly how yet, but I'm going to expand it. Okay? So I hope that makes sense to you all. So what are some of the benefits? As I've already talked about that. But the biggest one I want to reiterate is that it overturns insecurities and self-doubt. Making a promise to yourself that requires a level of commitment and consistency and discipline. Fulfilling it overturns insecurities and self doubt, and it gives you the impetus, confidence to go to another level. Okay? A higher level. So when God said to me, I'm taking you higher, Marianne, I didn't know he was talking about consistency, commitment, and discipline. I didn't. But I said, okay, whatever you want to do, God, wherever you want to take me, I want to go. I want to go. I'm open. I surrender to your love, to your favor. And then who knows what's going to come across your path. But when you surrender to God's love and his favor, his power is released in you, right? Surrender seems like something you do in weakness, but surrender is the way to power, peace, power, and prosperity. Surrender is the way to peace, power, and prosperity. I hope you get that. All right. And make a comment if you're watching the live or even now, if you have a question about that. But I hope you can see how that works. I hope you can see that works. All right. The feeling is whatever comes my way, whatever I engage in, whatever I commit to, we can do it. I don't say I can do it. We can do it. I'm all about the we energy, not the me energy. I don't have to be all that because I am with God. I'm connected to God. I am with God. He and I are like this, inseparable. And then the we energy is also like my husband, family, mastermind groups, communities that you're a part of, right? The we energy is powerful. Let's see, what else did I want to say here? Yeah. Okay. So what I would suggest that you do is if you don't like the idea of 75 hard, because I'm creating my own health program now. All right. Now that I have the tools, because I've already done this, I'm now ready to take that and create my own health plan, continue it going in a way that works best for me. All right. As well as the income and infrastructure that I will be, paying more attention to. I'm going to give you 3 verses that I think are quite empowering that can help you in this as well. And a lot of this relates to, believe it or not just your health, not just your personal growth, but your money. And I'm going to say something here that I don't want you to take the wrong way. But I believe we're all supposed to be wealthy. All of us. I believe we're all supposed to be wealthy. And while I'm not all about the money, I'm all about the money. I say money is a tool that is really important for us to understand and to and better our relationship with money. All right. So discipline and commitment and consistency can help you increase your income. If you're not getting a paycheck every day or every week or every 2 weeks, then you need even more discipline consistency if you're generating cash yourself. So important. Discipline, consistency, and commitment. Okay. But even if you are getting a steady paycheck for hopefully doing work that you enjoy doing, it's still going to require some sense of discipline, commitment, and consistency to have a surplus. All right. So I'm all about the surplus. I think we need to live in the surplus, mental surplus, emotional surplus, as well as financial surplus. It's one of the things I do with my clients. We have to find ways. There are ways to increase their financial surplus. All right. So here's a few verses. Number 1, poor is he who works with a negligent hand, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. The hand of the diligent makes rich. That's Proverbs 10:4. Poor is he who works with a negligent hand, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. Poverty and shame will come to him who neglects discipline, but he who regards reproof, that means like somebody coming along and giving you a correction or nothing with shame on it, but he who regards reproof, that's a person who wants to be corrected. That's a person who wants somebody to say, I got a suggestion for you. Would you like to hear it? Oh, please, yes. All right. That's somebody who likes to have a coach in their life. But he who regards reproof will be honored. Honored. That's Proverbs 13:18. Okay. And then this one. Jesus says, my yoke is easy and my burden light. So on one hand, I'm talking about not being negligent, being disciplined, regarding reproof, all right? Right? All those things. But on the other hand, We want to make sure that we're not doing it in striving and in struggle and eking it out. And I'm not saying it's not hard and challenging sometimes, but God says that his yoke, that means the rules of life, his yoke is easy and his burden, and that's the work we carry around. Burden is like the pack on the donkey. He says it's light. All right. But when we start thinking about life as difficult and heavy, and we start putting difficult and heavy to discipline, it's going to be very difficult for us to fulfill, right? So think about it easy and light, easy and light, easy and light. That's what you want to go for, easy and light. I think it was one of my clients, Carol Wagner, was telling me in one of the posts here. She said that, you know, we're free spirits. She's a free spirit. I'm a free spirit. I love being a free spirit. I love that about me. But free spirits can also be disciplined. Free spirits, because we can choose what we want to be disciplined about. It's our choice. It's your choice. It's your choice. Okay, let's see. Any comments here? Oh, thank you, Clara. Claire is another wonderful client of mine. Beautiful artist. Yes, you need structure. And that's what we're going to do together, Clara. We're going to build a structure for you that works for you, daily disciplines. The decision has power, surplus, moving toward that. That's right. All right. You decide that you have surplus. You decide you're not available for eking by. Decide that. Decide that surplus is yours. That surplus, God is a God of surplus. He wants you to have surplus. He's going to set up your life as long as you don't oppose him. He's going to set up your life so that you have a life of surplus. Yes, it's all there for you. Thank you, Clara. Yes, Kathy, honor commitment. Yes. And also, too, just remember, he who delights in reproof will be honored. All right. So you're going to get honored. How do you get honored? By having the desires of your heart fulfilled. That's one way to getting honored. Right? Did you know God honors you? We're always encouraged to honor God. But did you know God honors you? That's what favor is about. That's what favor is about. It's about God esteeming, approving, and honoring you. And because of that, you get special blessings. That's right. And really, you don't have to earn it. This isn't an earning thing. This is a receiving thing. This is a receiving thing. That's right. We energy. Good. I'm glad you like that, Kathy. Hey, Dee. You're in the chemo chair. Well, feel our love to you. Blessings to you. Oh, thank you. That's right. Live in the surplus. Hey, Tracy. Good to see you. I'm glad that it's resonating. That's right. Decide on a life of surplus. Denny says, I need some structure too. Yeah, it's an interesting thing since the benefits of structure are like, they're huge. They're huge. But a lot of times, some structures are so rigid. Some structures don't take into mind our personality and our preferences, So that's why I say you need a framework and a structure that you agree with, that you buy into, that works for you. Then you can make that decision to commit to it, and nothing's going to get in your way. Nothing's going to get in your way. That's right. Okay. Anybody else? Thank you, Carmi. Good. Glad you think so. Well, everybody, we're almost at the half hour point. If there's any more comments, a couple more things too. Let me just invite you to this. There's a lot of different ways that you can work with me. If you are needing clarity, if you're needing to up your game, if you're needing to break through an income ceiling, those are my specialties. Helping you break through income ceilings, helping you achieve your wildest dreams, whatever records you have set for yourself, breaking those records, going beyond where it is you've gone before. So there's a variety of ways that we can work together, and fits a variety of budgets. So private message me and let's have some conversation about it. Okay. And because I believe in you guys. I believe how important it is for you to overcome whatever obstacles are in your life, increase that sense of security, that confidence within, so you can be the queens and move forward in being the queen that God has already made you to be. You already are that. You already are that. Am I going to do another 75 days? No, I am not. I'm doing a 90-day program, though, that I'm going to continue making it a lifestyle. So 75 days help me to see what kinds of things I want to incorporate into my life on an ongoing basis. So I haven't been doing, oh my gosh, and just 5 more days to go. Truly, the last week has been harder than before. When you're about ready to you're out ready to be done, it does make it a little harder. Like, I just want this to be over with. But for most of the 75 days, I was not looking forward to it being done. I was looking for new habits. New habits. What is going to be my new habit? 75 days is plenty of time to form new habits, right? So I could go on autopilot with this, but there are certain things that I don't think work so well for me. Like drinking a gallon of water and not being able to go to bed until it was done. That was kind of a difficulty that kept me up a lot at night because I was like peeing every 2 hours. That interrupts your sleep. So I probably won't be doing that. Well, I won't. I know I won't be doing that, but I have committed to 80 ounces, minimum of 80 ounces. Maybe I want more than that, but a minimum of 80 ounces. I'm committing to the early morning walk. I love that. My husband and I have great conversations on our walks in the morning. And so a 45-minute walk every morning, first thing I do is spend time with the Lord. And then after that, we go and do our walk. And it just sets up the day so nicely. Yeah, so I'm committing to that 80 ounces, committing to the morning workout. But I also want to commit to, because I'm in this chair and on another chair and on my phone and on the computer so often that I'm committing to moving my body more. Like every hour, I'm taking 5 to 10 minutes and I am going to be moving my body. And I need to do that because I can develop some really severe pain in my back from sitting too long. So I'll be doing that. I'm not going to go back to drinking alcohol every day. I love my glass of wine. I do. I love my glass of wine. And I have, at first, the first week, it was kind of like, oh, I don't like this, I love to. That was my habit. At the end of a day of work, put in a good day, go sit down and put on some nice music, and I'd have my glass of wine. So I had to find a new habit for that. And that happened to be my second workout, my 45-minute workout. So I will continue to do something like that and not drink. However, I have a happy hour date coming up with a friend on Friday, and so I will have a glass of wine then. But I'll save it for those kinds of things. That's the feeling that I got from this, and that's how I want to go forward. And then I have the 90 days where I'm going to be doing I got some business challenges that I have committed to. I have a framework and I made some promises to myself about what I'm going to do regarding that and accountability. And therefore that will be my next venture, my next adventure. All right. Thanks for asking that. Is there anybody else that has any more questions, anything else that they want to ask me or talk about, or that you're going to do yourself? Is there anybody that's going to do something themselves to create, more discipline, consistency, and commitment in their life? Now, I already thought I had this. I already thought I was committed and disciplined and consistent enough. I really did. But when God said, I'm taking you higher, the higher was a higher level of commitment, discipline, and consistency. And I didn't realize how that would change my life. So I guess then I'm going to, everybody's good. All right, cool. Well, good to see you all. Thank you for showing up. Again, if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. I love seeing your names. I love you guys when you show up. And I just bless you all now. And I just pray right now. I release the blessing of God upon you. Release the blessing of God, the power of God within you. And that power of God within you is always actively at work in you. So I pray for that for you, that power at work in you would be activated, and the power of love would come upon you and fill your soul, fill your mind and your heart and your body. Yes, yes, the power of God actively working in you so that He, not you, you don't have to, so that He can achieve your wildest dreams, your greatest request, and just desires unimaginable. So good to see you all. Thank you for showing up. All right. Adios.